Organised there, and we'll be moving to agenda item number 2, which is the confirmation of the non-confidential portion of the council minutes held on the 29th of November, which will take us through to 2/13. Are there any amendments to these minutes before I ask for a mover or a seconder? Seeing none, I would ask for a mover, please, for those minutes. Move, Councillor Johnson. Second, Councillor Truman. I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Any matters arising? No matters arising? Moving now to the unconfirmed minutes of the Turangi-Tongariro Community Board, which was on the 6th of December, which take you from 3 to 3/7. Are there any questions or discussions on these, or for clarification purposes, etc., before I put the motion? Wish to comment at all on them, Mr. Chair? Councillor Kipper?
No, just to signal that I will move them. And just to point out 3/2 of resolution 5006 and 5009 on 3/4.
Okay, cool. And you wish to be the mover? So I need a seconder, please. Happy to second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Moved. Item number 4, Democracy and Public Advocacy Manager. The minutes of the Mangakino, this is from him, sorry, we're moving the minutes of the Mangakino Pouakani Representative Group, which again is unconfirmed, which is 4/7. You wish to comment on these at all, Councillor Truman?
No.
Okay, is there any questions or discussions for clarification purposes anybody would like? Okay, could I have a mover, please?
Yep, so that's also that recommendation number 31. That's part of the...
Unconfirmed, yep. So that's moved, Councillor Truman. Second, Councillor Crate. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item number 5 are the unconfirmed Taupo Airport Authority minutes, which we held back on the 7th of December. We've got Councillor Johnson, you've got an amendment to these.
Just general business.
Page
5/3.
5.3, and the amendment under Lakeview Helicopters, number 6, general business.
Yeah, he had been trying to get into the tourist park. We actually haven't had the meeting to formally decline it.
So the first sentence that reads, the operator had not been able to get into the Waireki Tourist Park as his operation is not a tourist activity.
He had applied
is not quite correct. The application is in at the moment, and the decision has not been made by that Waireki Tourist Park committee. So I think best as an amendment just to strike the first sentence from the minutes.
Suggest that to the committee at the next meeting. So you can amend it here, but you can.
We have to amend it back at ours.
That
makes sense. Yeah. So
it's just making a note of it.
So okay, we need to meeting note that. Yeah. Thanks. Any further questions or discussions on the minutes, Councillor Williams?
Oh, I'd just like to make a comment that I think it's absolutely fantastic. I see that you've congratulated the airport staff, Mayor Rick, on their award for the New Zealand Regional Airport of the Year. I think that's really brilliant, and I happen to have used the airport a lot this year, and I notice everything out there is just such an improvement on what it was 2 or 3 years ago in all respects. So I think that's really to be honoured.
No, thanks for that, Councillor Williams. I know, speaking for Councillor Johnson, myself and other board members and management out there, was especially for management, it was a great kudos to get that award for best. Now, what's the wording of it? What are we called? Best regional airport for in all categories. That's the overall to be awarded was fantastic. But it's also fantastic that the airport is in times like this going in leaps and bounds. You go out there and you see it's completely full. All lease sites are full. We're creating more lease sites as we speak. and things are happening out there. It's just bubbling away like a lovely little pot of curry. So, Councillor Johnson, I don't know if you want to add anything to that at all?
No, it's been a very enjoyable year actually being on the committee, just seeing the progress. It's one of our gems that's just waiting to sort of be expanded even more. So.
And there's been really good occupancy rates too, hasn't there?
It's full.
Which is really good.
We're actually investigating more sites now, trying to bring them online with unused land. But that has its problems and resource consents and things. But we're working there, so because we do have people still wanting to come into the airport now, and as we say, we're full. So.
Oh, sorry, I meant the bookings, and I meant to rephrase it. The aircraft to ensure the longevity of the service, or the security of the service. The bookings seem to be very good. The aircraft seem to be well patronised.
Cool. Well, thank you for all those kind words. And so a mover for those unconfirmed minutes, Councillor Johnson. Obviously, I will second, having been there. All those in favour? Carried. Okay, moving to item number 6. Mr. Lewis is going to present the Manager of Infrastructure cycle sculpture proposal. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Your Worship, I'm not going to read through the report. We've had an approach by a group of excited cyclist enthusiasts for a couple of sculptures, one in Taupo and one in Turangi, the details of which are in the report. I'll take any questions.
Okay, well, we'll take it as read from Mr. Lewis. He referred to some excited cyclists, but I think he was talking about himself as well. He gets very excited about cycling. So I'll open it up to the councillors. Councillor Johnson.
I was just reading under options that councils agreed that their role is not to choose artwork, but to determine whether a specific site is appropriate. Wouldn't it be better for the community to be out towards State Highway 1? I mean, open question really to... It's only going to be seen by those coming down, but if we had it out on somewhere near the new bypass, if at all possible, it may be...
That particular location was chosen because of the cycle challenge route and the corner of Poihipi and what's currently State Highway 1. It's on the cycle challenge route, as is the one down in Turangi. Yes, you're not capturing those that are passing by, but it certainly will be in the face of those that are entering or exiting town from the north.
Just maybe, I think that the Sculpture Trust identified sites on the ETA that could be used for sculpture of some sort. I don't know if you've been in that discussion.
No, I have not.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we're still working on those bits of sculpture and it's a different project.
Cool. Anything further from any councillors? Questions thereof?
I'd just like to, just like to say that this was after a group of cyclists went around France and they got the idea from key areas in the Tour de France. And if we do establish this, it will be the first one in New Zealand. We will be the first town in New Zealand to have a giant cyclist. And if anything to go by the ones in France, people do have their photographs taken by them, and these two will be located where there's a good background to show off people with the lake in the background and the cycle, big cycle. Thanks.
Okay, Councillor Dunnett.
I agree with Councillor Chris. I mentioned it this morning. I think it should be out on the ETA. I know we're constricted by transit, but the Poihipi one, the cyclists are already here. They're already enthusiastic people, and they go past and see it, and they're in town. We really want to promote this being the cycling excellence in the North Island, and I'd like to see it on the ETA because it attracts people in to come mountain biking or cycling around, in a very friendly less traffic with the ETA going around area.
So is that a possibility, Mr. Lewis, that site could be considered, or is that definitely the road blocked by our bureaucratic mates at NZTA?
We would, if it's to be located on the ETA or close to it, we'd probably need to liaise with them and work with them to get approval for a site.
And considering we're not allowed signs that tell us where the trout centre is and things like that, would we be allowed a bike telling everybody that we're the bike capital of New Zealand?
Of couldn't possibly comment at this stage without debating it with them.
Does it have to be white with pink dots on it?
My daughter likes that colour. My granddaughter likes those colours.
Well, that's the Tour de France. Hill climb colours.
Okay, I've got a little bit of a question. So let's just say this happens. So yes, we've got this budget where we go 50-50 with people, and this council is, as elected members, are not the choosers of the sculptures. So if people say, oh, I don't like that or I do like that, we can't take the credit or the debit for it. But what I do want to know is if it gets vandalised and damaged, who maintains it?
All these sculptures are vested into council once they're complete, so it's our responsibility.
So if somebody wrecks it and bends it over and backs it out of the ground and that's our responsibility as council.
It becomes our asset, so it's in our decision what we do with it.
Do we really need them as assets? Couldn't we let them have their own ownership of it?
A couple of issues with that, and it's mainly around public land and the money that you've put aside, which is capital, so it has to be your asset on your land.
How likely are these to get damaged in all reality?
The existing sculptures around town, and you've got quite a few of them now, has had very few problems.
They're all virtually covered with CCTV cameras. There's no CCTV camera at the corner of Puepi Road.
If you put a bike lock on, it'll be okay.
Oh, Councillor Johnson, thank you.
have to be a big one.
And a bell.
Okay, so the resolution will be with a bike lock.
Thank you.
Well, there is a suggested resolution here, so if there's no more further questions, talks or statements to be made regarding it, is there a mover for it? Moves Councillor Crate. Does he have a seconder? Councillor Williams. Anybody want to talk against the motion? Nobody want to talk against it. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried.